This is a lecture from OpenTuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
So continuing with chapter 2, it's a very long chapter, this one, but it's very important, and we're on page 28. So what this bit is talking about here is where you've got a couple, a married couple, husband and wife. It also applies to couples that have gone through a civil partnership ceremony. Once again, you have to have gone through some kind of ceremony for this section. Now, what if you've got a couple that jointly own property? Now, that property could be a property as in bricks and mortar that they rent out to tenants. It could be money in a bank account that's earning interest. And basically, where they jointly own property or assets, any income that's produced from those assets is automatically split between the couple equally. So the split is always going to be 50-50, yep, unless they make an election. Now, they can make an election to have it split according to the actual underlying ownership proportions. So let's say, that they bought a property that they let out to tenants and it cost £100,000 and the wife contributed £70,000 to the purchase price and the husband contributed £30,000 to the price. In the absence of an election, that property income would be split 50-50. Or they can make an election so that 70% of that property income is taxed on the wife and 30% of the property income is taxed on the husband. So the other thing that we're going to have a look at is the child benefit tax charge. Now, I mentioned child benefit earlier on in this chapter. Now, in the UK, we get, you have a child or children and you are automatically entitled to receive child benefit. I think it's about £100 a month for the first child, and then you get smaller amounts for any additional children. So it's automatically given. And years ago, once again, it wouldn't matter how much income you had, you automatically got child benefit. So whether you had income of 100,000, 20,000, a million, you were automatically entitled to child benefit if you have children. And then what they did a few years ago is, once again, they changed the rules and they said, look, if you're a high earner, you're not going to miss this money, this child benefit. So therefore, what we're going to do is we're going to start taking it off you. Okay? So where you've got a couple, and it doesn't even matter in this case if they're married, so you've got a couple and they're claiming child benefit. And then at the end of the tax year, what we do is we look to see whether either of the couple have adjusted net income of greater than £60,000. Now, if the adjusted net income of both of the couple is less than £60,000, then we don't have a problem. Once we breach that £60,000, we have a problem. And if we breach £80,000, we've got an even bigger problem. Yeah. So the way in which it works, child benefit is paid monthly through the bank account, and it's paid to the primary child carer, which is usually the mother, but doesn't have to be. So it automatically goes into the bank account. Now, child benefit is not taxable income, so do not put it in the body of the income tax computation. We receive it every month. At the end of the year, we look at the adjusted net income and we look at the adjusted net income of the higher earner. So if the higher earner has got adjusted net income of greater than £80,000, every single penny of that child benefit that we've received during the year, we've got to pay it back. Yeah. Now, you can't, if you know that you're going to consistently be over that £80,000 threshold, you can elect not to receive it. Otherwise, if you do receive it, you've got to pay it all back. Now, the way in which it's paid back is you add it to the income tax liability of that higher earner. Now, if both of the couple have got adjusted net income of less than £60,000, we get to keep every penny. So over 60 but below 80, this is where it gets a little bit more, not complicated, but you have to do a working to figure out how much you've got to pay back. Now, the information that's given to you in the exam, this is in your tax tables in the exam. So between 60 and 80, you're going to get a child benefit charge, which is 1% of the child benefit that you've received for every £200 above that £60,000 threshold, which sounds a bit complicated, but this is how you would do it. So as an illustration there, we've got Catherine. Yeah, so Catherine has received child benefit of 1355, and we've got adjusted net income for the year of 74,581. Yeah, so we don't have to pay it all back because it's less than 80, but we're going to have to pay something back because it's greater than 60. So what we would do is we would say, well, that's our adjusted net income. Now, remember the definition of adjusted net income. It's your net income from your income tax computation, less gross personal pension contributions, less gift aid donations, gross, once again, that's your adjusted net income. We look at the threshold at which you've got to start paying it back, which is £60,000. And we've got our excess there, which in this case, as you can see, is 14,581. We take that figure and we divide it by 200. And that gives us 72.905. You round it down, so 72,905 becomes 72, and that represents a percentage. And that is the percentage of child benefit that we have to pay back. So in this case, we are assuming that Catherine is the higher taxpayer. She could be a single parent, who knows? But we're saying that she's got the higher adjusted net income of the two. The tax charge will land on her. And what that means is 72% of that 1355 child benefit that she's received during the year needs to be paid back. And the way in which it's paid back is we add it to Catherine's income tax liability. So watch out for that child benefit tax charge.